Why, good evening, you beautiful souls. Welcome to another evening satsang. Now, tonight's a little special because it's tapping back into the pureness of our being, that effortless expression of the now, this I am presence within us through a different approach. It's this mastering of focus through the affection that our consciousness is. And in that direction of our being comes something called attention. Now, tonight is really about separating from that which is observed and simply marinating in the pureness of yourself from the standpoint of loving recognition. So get those last few wiggles out in little shakes, get comfortable in whatever position you choose. When you hear the first 3 taps of the singing bowl, take a nice deep inhale with each sound of the ring. And as it fades into silence, release your exhale into a powerful yet gentle Om, shifting your full attention to the sound of your own voice, the vibrations of the body. Simply witness to this present moment unfold. As I lovingly invite you into the space of the heart, the throne of the soul, home. No matter what's happening around you, no matter the sounds, simply observe everything indiscriminately. Allow your beingness to hold on to nothing. Observe the inner and the outer in worlds and environments evenly, harmoniously, detached. When you hear the final tap of the bowl, allow yourself to effortlessly drop into the stillness, the quiet, the calm. Just as the bell fades, allow the dust, the inner happenings and phenomena to fade and settle. Your beingness itself, the pureness, that sense of I am, it is the radiant light, the sun itself. We can see ourselves break down the word focus to act as that magnifying glass. It can enhance the image. Yet when also focused, it can scorch the earth. Like a child playing out in the sun, we must come to recognize the power of our own attention and gaze. It's the focus, that in which we fall in love with. We shine our light on and give life to. For the fundamental nature of what we are creators, manifestors. So too, as the source in which we all stem from, we were given the power of free will, of choice, of creation. Here in these words holds the power and the truth and the weight behind. You must be careful which thoughts you entertain, because it's your beingness itself which gives life to all. As you've heard me say often, the example of the thought of the ugly baby. You wouldn't tell your friend such a harmful thing, depending on the relation. But in truth, you naturally discern and instead choose to say something loving and uplifting. That is the power of your choice, of your attention. You recognize in the moment. Yet when things are attached to our heart itself, we tend to overlook. We cling tight. We refuse to let go. But you're the pureness which is observing everything. You are unchanging. You are untarnishable. The pureness of our being is effortless, for we are the flow of life itself. It's when we let go that we come to experience this separation, this discernment within our own being. And it's the fundamental recognition that there is an observed, revealing that there is also an observer. Come to see yourself as the observer. Recognize that the thoughts, the emotions, the sensations, they arise in front of you. What we entertain, what we are entertained by, what we give love to, we fuel. Just as the ugly baby comment is dismissed internally, and the action is often the opposite. We must come to recognize here in this moment that each and every thought, emotion, sensation has a fundamental point of choosing to accept or reject it in your experience. One can question the whys, the shoulds, the coulds, the infinite curiosity of the mind and imagination. Or one can objectively observe the fact that everything internally is observed. So, what does that mean about your beingness? What does that mean about the character or lack thereof in this film called life? We must come to recognize the power of our pureness, for it allows us to navigate life and the many happenings effortlessly, freely. And for the first moment in our conscious adult lives, we can play again. We can enjoy life. For the thoughts that cause us to remain in the stagnant cycles, the monotonous patterns of destructiveness, we recognize that those avenues of expression aren't worth it. We no longer fall in love with them, and we invest our pure love and radiant light into the truth of our being, into the silence, the stillness, the calm. For only when our internal waters are still do we see the reflection and the beauty of what we are. Imagine yourself as the main character of a show. And like the cartoons in which many of us grew up on, There is a moment, an opportunity, a reflection, in which the main character observes a conversation between the good and the evil, the light and the dark, the angel and the devil. Yet even in the show, and hopefully in your mind's eye, you see them with the same face as the main character. It's this childlike expression that paints the image perfectly to what we experience internally. The two opposing forces, the mind wrestling against itself. Yet it's that pureness, that affection of attention that has us believing that we are the two sides bickering and battling. Come to understand you are the main character silently watching both. When you truly entertain, you are not the mind. You are not the emotions. You are not the body. A loving separation arises. The ending of a toxic relationship. And in its purest sense, the ending of a toxic identification, a misinterpretation of identity. When we no longer see ourselves as the inner chatter, when we no longer give it our affection and attention, and instead direct it inwards towards the observer, our beingness itself, the two sides settle, and all resolution is resolved, for nothing arises. The pureness, the stillness, the emptiness. And it's in these moments we can observe and sense the aroma, the perfume of what we are. For the love, the light, the peace, the calm, it radiates from us. It's not something coming in. So recognize fully you're that pure and silent witness. You are the knower. You are effortless. For it's the eternal nature of our being. This infinite and expansive love that is the ground of what we are. Detach from the false, detach from the temporary, and shift your gaze towards the unchanging. You. Take a nice deep breath. Breathing from the base of the spine through the crown of the skull. Allow yourself to take slow, deep, rhythmic breaths to whatever is comfortable for the body. Simply relax and consciously observe, consciously exist and be. Simply listen to what's happening around you, what the body is sensing and feeling, but remain at a distance from the identification. Assert your true position through the simple things within your experience. Instead of saying concepts and words such as, I feel the body, my being, see it for what it is and say it and speak it into existence for what it is. You're observing the body pick up a certain sensation. Recognize that you are not feeling any emotion, you are observing the emotion. You are not thinking, the mind is not you, but the mind presents ideas and thoughts to you. Mastering our focus comes from mastering and reasserting our true position. Nothing within this experience can arise without your approval of it. Nothing arises in this experience without your given affection. The concept of free will and choice goes far beyond a simple elevator pitch. For what do you choose to accept in this reality is for you to also create your own. The ultimate power of our affection, of the beingness, the consciousness we call attention, is giving the seed of life and birthing it, nurturing it through your continual investment. So be mindful in which you direct your gaze. And know that the road home is through looking at yourself, that pureness in which you are. The adjectives and many words used to describe it still aren't what we are. And they merely express the aroma of our being. When you hear the final tap of the bowl, take a nice deep breath. And in that moment, allow yourself to let go in the action of chanting out Om. And as the exhale is released, allow the pureness, the stillness, the calm of your own observation to marinate. Remain in that pure state of knowing and being. Namaste. I bow to the divine within you. And thank you so much for tapping. And don't forget to smash that like. But the most important thing to recognize is that until we fully embrace what is happening around us, we're never able to fully be focused. Other words for this sense of internal focus, this mastery of concentration, is phrased as one-pointedness. And it's just like that magnifying glass, condensing that light, directing all of those rays to that single point in which we can really spark an ember. And in life, that operates as our beingness directing itself towards something that catches our eye, you could say, that our heart is drawn towards. And whether it's being drawn towards it consciously by the higher self, by the subconscious egoic mind, it matters not. That's what gives life to anything we experience. And in this reference frame of the internal space, the mind, the thoughts, the emotions, the physical sensations, this is where it stems back to the identification you have with this vehicle of the body. And it's deeply tied. We're taught to be these little people. We're taught to fully embrace, that we are the body, that we are the flesh. Yet what happens when you give your full attention to that pure and intangible, unchanging witness? There's a peeling away that arises. It's this separation, it's this distance, it's that breathing room that we actually get those aha moments to come through. It's those moments of deep relaxation. And just with spirituality, come to recognize that when you get to a point of mastering concentration and focus, it becomes pure, effortless being. Because really, the mastering of the focus is just grabbing the reins back on the horse that is the body. Once you have the reins, you don't let them go. You just kind of relearn what's it's like to actually lead the show. And that's the pureness, that's the dance, that's the beauty of life. And one thing that I can always reassure people with is that when you continue this inner looking and really experiencing in real time, trying to consciously have this be your filter of, you're not the thoughts, you're not the emotions, you're not the body, that you are the observer, there's a distance here. It gets easier and easier. Certain thought patterns, certain emotional expressions, and physical pulls, they become weakened. They no longer get your attention. And because of that, they naturally die out. It's the law of inertia. When you're not feeding it, you're no longer spinning that wheel, and it just kind of fizzles its way out, comes and goes just as quickly as it entered the scene. And that's the beauty here, is that it comes to give you the true divine free will that you have as the captain of your ship. Not to mention, nights like these in the Pacific Northwest, the rain, simply listening to the wind and the rain fall is so much more beautiful when that's all you're experiencing. And that's the beauty of this path of inner looking, spirituality, awakening, unfoldment, whatever you want to call it, is we realize how simple and beautiful life is. And you live it. You appreciate it. You come to recognize how much energy it takes to invest in certain emotions and thoughts. How our base state is pure, calm, harmony, and just that flow. It's like being a kid again, except you really appreciate it. And that's the power in which each of us has as this pure witness, this silent knower, is that we can fully awaken to the kingdom that is within, that heavenly realm of just liberation. And in truth, it's really just relaxation on all the different levels. So remember, less is more. Mastering our focus can be practiced through simply focusing on a sound, an object moving, whatever it is that can get you to the point of allowing the consciousness to concentrate on something that tunes everything else out. And then the more you recognize that you can shift that to wherever, direct that inwards towards yourself. It is a powerful practice. And I'll be doing future videos and stuff on that stuff as well. But one that I will leave here, I'll save the rest of them for the video, but one of them is just to get like an old school clock, right? and just watch the second hand. Don't count it. Don't listen to this. Don't focus on the don't focus on that. I mean, there's a phase and point in which you can focus on the sound, but initially focus on the sight and just watch the tip of the second hand with as much utmost focus and concentration as you can, as if you're trying to see every atom within it. And if you can master that for a minute easy, you're like, oh, that was cake. I almost went for 5. Ooh, amp it up to that. Then go 10. Then go 15. Then go 20. And if you can go to 30 all the way through, just watching the second hand, just like you go past that insane Tetris God mode where you don't blink for minutes, you're good. Realistically, if you can go for 10, you're probably good to go on to the next exercises. But I got you for future stuff. But with that, may the fruit of knowledge offer a seed, and in that seed may your love, will, and intuition give life and nourishment. For a tree shall grow, and in its shade may you find peace, and offer peace to all whom ask. Namaste. I bow to the divine within you. I love you so much. Thanks for tapping in. Smash that like, share, subscribe if you haven't, hit the notification bell, do all those things. I appreciate it. And most importantly, have a great night, you beautiful being, or day, whenever. I know a lot of you listen to this, but have a great one. Take care. Peace.